Hey everyone, it's Luke, and today I am going to be going over my Pokemon story doing Pokemon Master Luke versus Pokemon Master Red and Pokemon Trainer Ash. Yes, as much as I love Ash as a character, I do not see him as a Pokemon Master. I feel like a lot of his victories wore plot armor and a lot of his losses were unnecessary. So here's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go through each one of these three, give you their best feats, uh, basically explain their story, and then build up their Pokemon team, and then explain which one is superior. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the OG himself, Pokemon Master Red, the ultimate Pokemon prodigy, the same prodigy that speed ran the Kanto gyms, beating all of them on his first try, soloing the Pokemon League, the Elite Four, and Blue as a champion, defeated Giovanni, making Team Rocket retire, and then caught Mewtwo. I'm pretty sure he does more than that. He basically also fights the Johto protagonist, but honestly, I do not agree with that. I don't agree with him losing. Anyway, so now I'm gonna build up Red's ultimate team. So first off, I'm going to give him all three Kanto starters fully evolved with obviously Mega Charizard X, because let's face it, Mega Charizard X will always be Red's. More so than Alon's, in my opinion. I'll also give him his overpowered Pikachu. I'm going to give him his Snorlax, because let's face it, Snorlax are pretty strong. And for his 6 spots, I'm giving him Mewtwo. Yeah, that's right. I'm giving him a freaking legendary, because he is just that legendary. I'm sorry, that was a bad pun. Anyway, so this is the part that I keep messing up on when trying to make this video. Freaking Ash. So, I'm just gonna say that Ash in the first 3 series is a complete idiot. I'm not gonna explain Johto, and I'm not gonna explain Hoenn, but I will explain Kanto. He loses to Brock twice, and then basically gets the badge out of pity. He battles Misty for the Cascade badge, but gets interrupted by Team Rocket, and then Misty's sisters are like, you know what? Have the badge. We don't care. So 2 free badges, even though he doesn't earn them. And then he battles Lieutenant Surge and gets wrecked. And only wins the second time because he realizes that Pikachu was able to learn his speedy attacks to outspeed Raichu. And then gets the Thunder Badge. I'm sorry, I was trying to replicate Lieutenant Surge's voice from the anime. There you go, kid. The Thunder Badge. It's all yours. I'm sorry. I'm such a mess. Anyway, his 4th gym badge, Erica. Not sure he really earns it. He battles Erica, but before he can win the badge, because I'm pretty sure he was about to win, Team Rocket sets the gym on fire, but Ash, being the kind-hearted dude that he is, goes back and saves Erica's Gloom. And just for that act of kindness, Erica's like, okay, have the badge. And he's like, okay. And then next up, and just for record, I'm going in order of the games, not the anime, because technically he gets the Marsh badge for his 4th badge, but, who cares? And to be honest, his battle against Koga for the Soul badge is, in my opinion, his first true victory. He wins that fight all on his own and earns the Soul badge. No complaints here. And then freaking Sabrina, who is so overpowered that his Pikachu loses the first time, causing Brock and Misty to be trapped as dolls. Then he goes to Pokemon Tower to get a Haunter. Or actually, he tries getting Haunter before his first attempt. And the only reason why he gets the badge is because when he comes back for the second attempt, Haunter decides to reappear and, be silly, making Sabrina laugh, which for some reason snaps Sabrina out of her angsty, her, I don't even know what to call it, basically breaks her out of her split personality, revealing her true self, and then she's like, okay, thanks, I'm gonna keep Haunter, here's the Marsh badge. And then he fights Blaine, loses, and then has a rematch on one-on-one after he finally convinces his Charizard to, cooperate with Ash's overpowered Charizard, beating Blaine's Magmar. And then we get to gym number 8 in Viridian City, and I am sorry. This gym battle is a complete mess. Giovanni, who actually runs the gym, doesn't even bother to show up. He gives his Pokemon to Jesse and James and Meowth and says, you know what, you battle the trainers. I'm busy I'm busy with doing something over here, which happens to be reprogramming Mewtwo, which, by the way, if you watch the first Pokemon movie, backfires heavily. And so Jesse and James fights Ash and also cheats by rigging the platform that Ash stands on to shock him every time his Pokemon takes damage. And then after Ash defeats all 3 of Giovanni's Pokemon, Jesse and James decide to throw out their personal Pokemon, with Meowth joining in, and Pikachu one-shots them, with him earning the Earth badge. Okay. Now, jumping into the Indigo League. He does good so far, but when he reaches like the top 16 and whatever, when he battles Reggie, oh my goodness. If it wasn't for that damn Charizard, basically being in his rebellious state, he would have easily beaten Reggie with Charizard alone. But yes, Ash loses the Indigo League. But then, apparently, after getting Charizard to cooperate, he solos the Orange League and wins the entire Orange League before going to Johto. I'm not going to explain the Johto battles because I don't really remember them, because I never really watched the Johto anime. I mean, I have, but I don't really remember the battles. All I really remember is the stupid rivalry between Ash and Gary, where they finally get serious and somewhat become friends at the end. And Ash finally defeats Gary after sacrifice. Like, to be honest, Ash wasted half of his team in that battle. Meaning that by the time he got to Charizard, Gary still had 3 of his Pokemon. But Ash ends up winning due to freaking plot armor. So I'm gonna skip Hoenn, because I never really watched Hoenn, and jumping to one of my personal favorites, Diamond and Pearl. And honestly, I love Diamond and Pearl. This is the anime where Ash actually starts using some actual battle IQ, like battle strategy, and coming up with cool battle techniques like his counter shield. And let's face it, Paul is Ash's ultimate rival. Let's face it, Paul was basically Ash's opposite. While Ash is kind and compassionate towards his Pokemon, Paul is just a complete jerk and abusive to his Pokemon to make them stronger. Because to him, he sees Pokemon as basically weapons. And that's cruel. That's animal cruelty. That's animal abuse. Okay, well technically, if you go with that logic, then technically Pokemon battles of themselves is animal abuse. Anyway, so honestly, I love the anime. I feel like having Ash lose his first battle against Rourke and his first battle against Fantino was kind of stupid. But besides that, I feel like it was one of the best written animes. And the whole arc with Chimchar, that was such a touching story, that of Ash basically taking Chimchar after Paul abandoned him, and then raising Chimchar into basically being one of Ash's most overpowered Pokemon with its Blaze ability. And let's face it, that final fight between Infernape and Paul's Electivire, that was very poetic. And of course, Ash wins. But the one thing that I hated about the Diamond and Pearl series is the fact that they introduced freaking Tobias, a random trainer who had nothing to do with the series until the Pokemon League, who basically just goes in straight up aura farming with basically revealing that this dude soloed all the Pokemon gyms and most of the Pokemon League with just his Darkrai. And then, of course, freaking Ash again wastes several of his Pokemon trying to defeat Darkrai, which honestly, the only two Pokemon he really needed to use to defeat Tobias's Darkrai, like, okay, shoot. His Heracross and his Sceptile were the only two Pokemon that Ash needed. But Ash decided to basically waste 3 of his Pokemon, do great damage with Heracross, and then finish it off with his Sceptile, who, by the way, will be on Ash's Ultimate Team. And then, of course, he throws out a freaking Latios, because apparently Tobias has a full team of legendaries that straight up, like, speed through Sceptile, leaving only Pikachu to deal with. And Pikachu ends up stalemating Latios in that fight, giving Tobias the victory. So if it wasn't for Tobias, Ash would have won. Would have won the Sinnoh League. Easily. Okay. Now my least favorite anime. The one that frustrates me the most. Stupid. I don't even know how to say this. It is the Black and White series. They decided to completely reset Ash to being a complete idiot with no battle strategy, not understanding basic type advantages, and constantly making stupid mistakes, with Iris keep calling him out for it. Well, to be fair, Ash is from Kanto, so he wouldn't have known these special abilities like Cursed Body. But I digress. Now, not to mention how many times he loses to Trip, who, by the way, is an inferior version of Paul. And his team isn't even all that powerful. Like, the battle that Ash's Pikachu that was nerfed by Zekrom loses to Trip's starting out level 5 Eevee. Like, I literally watched like the game theory, film theory episode on that with him basically with MatPat basically explaining, oh, Pikachu should have been at least level 60 at that point, so that means that he would have easily beaten that Snivy. And I'm like, thank you. But, he loses and, completely gets humiliated. Loses many, like, basically just straight up loses all aura he had in the previous series. But you know what? The fight in the series that I hated more than this loss was the freaking Cameron battle. Okay. Let me explain why I hate the Cameron battle so freaking much. Because Cameron is a complete idiot. Okay? When we first meet him, when he arrives because it's like, when we first meet him, it was after the Junior Cup, and he arrives, it's like, hey, I'm here for the Junior Cup, and then Ash and gang is like, sorry, it's over. He's like, wait, what? I missed it? And then he shows off his badges thinking he only needed 7, but then Ash is like, actually, I don't know if it was Ash or Silent, but I think it was Ash, who basically told him, you needed 8 badges, and he's like, wait, what? Shoot! Okay, Riolu, let's go! Riolu! And just speeds off. So he had to basically speed run his way to his 8th gym to beat Merlin and get his water badge. And then the next time we meet him, he's camping right outside the city where the Pokemon League is taking place, right? And then when he talks to Ash, he's like, hey, I've been camping here for 3 days. 3 days? You know you have to register, right? Wait, what? I thought you just had to show up. That's right. This idiot thinks you just had to show up to be able to qualify for the Pokemon League. And then they hear that sign-ups are over, so Ash grabs Cameron by the arm and drags him to the Pokemon Center to register and basically had to beg Nurse Joy to let him in. Right? Because of plot reasons. Like, freaking plot armor. And then by the time it came to, like, what? Was it the quarterfinals? Or semifinals? I don't know. The point is, when it came to Ash versus Cameron threw out a Hydreigon, which bodied, like, 3 of Ash's Pokemon. Then Ash bodies all 4, takes out Hydreigon, solos his other 3 Pokemon, and then Cameron uses his Riolu and it's like, okay, Riolu, it's all on you. And then Ash is like, what do you mean? Where's your 6th Pokemon? He's like, I thought this was a 5-on-5. A 5-on-5. I'm sorry. And what angers me about this is that after all of this stupidity, the writers decided to give his freaking Riolu plot armor. So Riolu tanks 20 hits, adapts in the battle, adapts pretty well in the battle, evolves into Lucario, tanks 20 more hits, and then defeats Ash's Pikachu, winning that. Just to lose to to Virgil and his team of Evolutions. That's pathetic. This is why I hate Black and White so much, because the writers decided to basically just reset Ash to a complete beginner, like the previous 4 regions never existed, even though later in the series, he talks about his other 3 adventures. Even his whole thing with Charizard, which honestly was one of my favorite episodes. But you know what? Screw Black and White. Moving on to my personal favorite, XYZ. Where in my opinion, this is Ash at his peak, at his prime. I don't care if you people say that Journey's Ash is the strongest version of Ash. I don't care. And let's face it, like Ash in XYZ is pure aura. Not to mention his whole bond phenomenon with Ash Greninja is pretty awesome, honestly. And I'm not going to explain all of XYZ, but what I will explain, sorry about everything getting dark, I'm moving back to my bedroom. So, my favorite thing about... So, the thing that I want to explain about XYZ is the Kalos League Finals. Right? So, yeah, the Kalos League Finals. Ugh. You know, as much as I like this series, it's like, okay, to be honest, the Alon versus Ash battle didn't really bother me all that much, but I don't know, just the fact that Ash Greninja, that is actually adapted after his loss against Wolfrig in the 8th Gym Badge, still losing to Alon's Mega Charizard X. It's kind of disappointing, but then again, Alon's Charizard did basically solo legendaries, so it makes sense. So, I'm not going to stay mad. So, I learned to get over that. So let's face it, XYZ, in my opinion, is peak Pokemon. And Black and White, I don't even know what to say about Black and White at this point, if I'm being honest. Hi. Actually, I'm going to turn off face camera for right now, because I have my phone on the charger, so I'll just keep explaining with no picture on. Okay, so... so, let's see. Okay. Sun and Moon. Do I like Sun and Moon? Kind of. But honestly, Sun and Moon kind of came off as a little too cartoony, like Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry or whatever. So, I personally don't really know how to say about it. What bugs me about Sun and Moon, though, was the way they handled the Pokemon League. Because let's face it, Ash, the entire time throughout the Alolan Pokemon League, was just straight up plot armor. Especially against his battle against Hao. That was straight up plot armor. His battle against Guzman, I argue, was actually pretty good. And then his battle against Gladion was also pretty good. And, well, his battle against Kukui was actually pretty good. So I don't even know what I'm arguing about. I guess I just didn't really care for the animation of Sun and Moon. But the only thing that I never really understood is why the judges decided to let Kukui use Tapu Koko and Tapu Koko's Z move, and the fact that Pikachu was actually able to overpower Tapu Koko and win that fight was ridiculous. It's just straight up ridiculous. And so, we come to Journeys. Do I like Journeys? Sure, it's fun. It kind of makes Ash appear more like a 10-year-old, honestly, than all the other series. But, like, I don't know, like, I kind of liked all the cameos they had in Journeys, like, bringing back some of his, old traveling companions. I hated the fact that when Serena finally had a chance to come back, she and Ash barely talked. Like, just to remind you, Serena kissed Ash at the end of XYZ before leaving. And then, some reason, the series just ignores that when they see each other again. I don't know. But, yeah, Journeys was okay. I didn't like Go, honestly. Didn't like his personality. I liked a lot of the fights, though I thought that they kind of gave Ash too much plot armor. Actually, let me explain the one thing I didn't like about Journeys. Ash in the Masters 8. If you want to argue that he does well against Steven Stone, sure. Steven Stone is actually pretty strong, but if you want to argue Ash is stronger, cool. But Ash definitely should have lost against Cynthia, who is arguably the strongest champion. And then definitely should have lost to Leon, but, writers are like, you know what? We're about done with Ash. Let's give Ash this victory. But you know what? Ash shouldn't even been able to win because the judges allowed Ash to basically cheat by using all 3 gimmicks. And then for some reason Pikachu going Super Saiyan. which honestly that was pretty cool, and honestly it was very nostalgic playing the original Pokemon theme song in that final fight. But honestly, I don't think Ash should have won the Masters 8. That's honestly why I don't think Ash deserves the title of Pokemon Master. I think I'm done with that. So yeah, I'm done explaining that. So I'm gonna go ahead and explain Ash's ultimate team. And let's face it, I think his team set is kind of obvious. If it's not, then I don't know. So, first off, Ash definitely has his Pikachu, that's obvious. His Greninja, that's obvious. His Charizard, that's pretty obvious. I would also give him freaking Lucario, because let's face it, Lucario was basically the star of Journeys. The last 2... Oh, wait, yeah, Sceptile. I forgot Sceptile. Duh. Why wouldn't I have Sceptile? And for his 6th Pokemon, honestly, I would just give Ash his broken Snorlax as his 6th Pokemon. Because honestly, I don't even know what other Pokemon could give him. Actually, you know what? Screw it. It's either between Snorlax or Gengar, honestly. Because his Gengar was actually pretty strong in Journeys. But to be honest, I don't think Ash should have had a Gengar to begin with. But, that wasn't my decision to make. So, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. And I'm going to bring the image back. So, this is Pokemon trainer Luke. And honestly, I know he pretty much looks like Luke Cosmos, and I don't know what to say. So, let me go off by explaining who he is. He is a Pokemon prodigy who came from Dragon Island, which is a isolated island where only dragon Pokemon live, that exists between the medieval region, which his story takes place, and the Prehistoria region, which he already traveled through. let's see, feats. First off, he's an aura prodigy. Unlike Ash, who barely uses aura, he's an aura master. Like, he's able to sense others. He basically has a sixth sense that allows him to basically detect others through their aura. He can communicate to Pokemon with their aura. Because he is an aura user, he's also an empath, so he can feel others' emotions. That's cool. He can pretty much also use aura to heal mental and psychological damage. That's pretty cool. Also, there is actually this one moment that I thought was very funny and pretty awesome aura farming, where before taking on his second gym for I think it was the Frost badge, I think I named it. The gym leader Elsa just told him, okay, if you can go a few rounds around the ice rink, I'll battle you here in the ice rink. Because, the gym was kind of like under construction. He's like, deal. And so he subconsciously, he tries, but he's terrible at ice skating, so he keeps falling down and basically humiliating himself. Because, let's face it, Elsa, who's the gym leader, he actually knew when he was younger, so it was kind of like trying to impress someone who he was friends with. And so he's like, screw it. He subconsciously unlocks like a minor version of his bond phenomenon with Electra, where he basically goes Super Saiyan and just speed blitz like the freaking Flash around the ice rink. Basically, straight up aura farming. Like, even gym leader Elsa was like, what the heck just happened? He's like, I don't know. That's right. He can link with his aura powers. He can basically link with Electra, his lightning dragon Pokemon, to basically kind of replicate dragon-based feats. So that was pretty awesome. And yeah. So these are the 8 gym badges. Blossom badge, Frost badge, Flight badge, Love badge, Strike badge, Night badge, Night Howler badge, and Angel badge. And I'm gonna explain to you that because this dude is a freaking Pokemon prodigy and aura master, he easily speeds through the first 6, struggles with 7, but by the time he reaches his 8th gym badge, he loses the first time, goes through a depression arc, regains his confidence, and not only wins, but uses his aura power to basically heal the psychological trauma of the 8th gym leader. So, extra feats. And these are the gym leaders: Lily, Elsa, Rose, Julie, Lance, Connor, and Olivia. These are the rivals: Hunter, Marduk, and Chris. These are the rivals' aces: Draken, Gladiator, and Chip Mighty. So, these are the 3 legendary Pokemon of my story universe. I forgot their names. But it's like Fate, Destiny, and the little Seraphim Pokemon. Sorry, did I... Oh yeah, the Seraphim Pokemon is also Olivia's Pokemon, by the way. So that's pretty much one of the reasons why he lost the first time, because Olivia was using a freaking mythical Pokemon. So, in the first fight, Luke uses all 6 of his Pokemon against her one Pokemon and gets wrecked. And then in the second fight, and then the second battle, it was basically a one-on-one with Electra mastering her, the Bond phenomenon and becoming Electra Delta. Pretty awesome. So, there's that. Oh yeah, and this is the Elite Four. I forgot their names. I think it was Scarlet, Boldore. I don't know, I forgot their names. And I am not going to go through my ChatGPT list because that's going to take too long. That is, shoot, what was her name? Oh yeah, that's Diana. She's the leader of Team Jurassic that is basically based on, the Jurassic era. So she focuses on dino-based Pokemon, but she's not the villain of the story. That goes to this dude. The picture says Axel, but I named him Nihilus. And that's supposed to be his ace Pokemon, whatever it's called. Nebulonix. Interesting. Steel Dragon. So yeah, along with his feats, he's an Aura Master. He defeats all the gyms. He solos he solos the Pokemon League with having an awesome final battle between Electra Delta and Marduk's Flatator, which is pretty awesome. He also defeats Nihilus, who, by the way, this is actually a pretty strong feat because Nihilus pretty much has this evil plan where he basically controls the 3 legendary Pokemon to basically control Fate and Destiny. So yeah. So basically trying to use the 3 legendary Pokemon to basically make himself a god. And then gets defeated by a 16-year-old. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Team Jurassic versus Team Kronos. That's their symbols. And before I go into Luke's team, let me explain the rest of his feats. So, to recap, defeats all 8 gyms, defeats the Pokemon League, and then goes on to basically solo the other 9 regions, wins the Master 8 without using any of the gimmicks, and then him and Electra... Oh yeah, he also solos all the legendaries. And then he decides to travel to an alternate dimension of all dragons, which is basically Electra's home realm, and solos that. So yeah, truly becoming a Pokemon Master because he basically soloed everything. He has achieved literally everything. Oh yeah, and this this is one of my favorite images, honestly. The first bond phenomenon between Luke and Electra. Hearts intertwined, aura united, destiny fused. Honestly, I think that's an awesome looking picture to represent their bond. Pretty awesome. I think I'm over explaining this. Anyway, and this is Luke's team. Sorry for how these Pokemon came out. It's stupid AI. Anyway. So yeah, that griffin looking one was supposed to be the regional bird. But because I was going off mythology, AI's like, okay, I'll make the regional bird a freaking griffin. Which is not what I asked for. But, you know, screw AI. Anyway, so let me end this by... So yeah. Oh yeah, I also forgot, this is, Pokemon Champion, Lucia. And when I said, she was the second to last person that Luke had to fight in the Masters 8, and like I said, he ends up winning the Masters 8 without any of the gimmicks, meaning no Mega Evolution, no Z-Move, no Dynamax, or Terrestrialization. So yeah, going back to the team. So, first off, of course, we have Electra / Electra Delta, his ace. We have Falconeer, a flying electric. We have Minotaur, which is honestly my medieval evolution for Tauros. Fighting Steel. Don't know why he looks like that. Arctic Fox, female version, which, I don't know, I guess kind of follows the whole stupid Pokemon system where some Pokemon start on all fours but then stand up and become humanoid for some stupid reason. This was supposed to be the dragon type Eevee evolution, Drakeon. And oh yeah, that's basically the jester for my my previous battle between Gear 5 Luffy. In this story, I basically just name her Pomni, like the character from Digital Circus, because I have no other name to give her. Because I suck at names. Don't judge me. And that's basically his team. We have a Dragon Electric, we have a Flying Electric, we have a Fighting Steel, we have an Ice Fairy, we have a Psychic Fairy, and then we have a pure Dragon type. So, I don't know if this team is really all that versatile, but honestly, it's pretty strong. Considering that he soloed he soloed 9 different regions, wins pretty much every battle in his region except once, and then defeats all the legendaries and solos a realm of dragons. Pokemon Master. Oh, sorry. Okay, so going back to this image, who wins here? Do we have the OG Pokemon Prodigy? Do we have the anime false Pokemon Master, Ash? Or do we have my personal story character, who for some reason I purposely wrote to surpass other Pokemon trainers? And honestly, while well, these fights are, well, these are going to be close fights. Honestly, at the end of the day, Pokemon Trainer Luke pretty much wins. And you're probably thinking, well, I mean, is there any proof in your stories that he can beat Red or Ash? And I'm like, well, yeah. For example, in the Pokemon... Okay, so yeah, in the Masters 8... In the Masters 8, the one that Luke fights and beats in the championship was Red. So the fact that he canonically defeated Red in the story means that that's a no-brainer. He defeats Red. Now what about Ash? Can he beat Ash? And just going off feats, I say yes, he can beat Ash. Like, Electra Delta, or even just Electra in her base form, can solo most of Ash's team. So, honestly, was this even a debate? Honestly, do you think this video was a waste of time? Was this debate not even necessary? Because I basically wrote him to be the strongest trainer and gave him feats that neither Red or Ash can compete with. Even if I ignored, even if I erased the whole thing of him defeating even if I erase the feats of him defeating all 9 regions legendaries and the Dragon Realm, and just keep with the base feats of him soloing the other 9 regions on top of his own, he's just those feats alone is enough to say yes. Even if I remove the overpowered feats of the Dragon Realm and defeating all the legendaries, his feats are still strong enough to argue that he defeats Red and Ash. Like, even if we have Red and Ash tag teaming with 12 against 6 Pokemon, I still argue that Luke still wins with Electra soloing most of Red's and Ash's Pokemon by itself. So anyway, that's how I'm gonna end this video. I hope this was not a waste of time. So, I hope you all watch this, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll come back later. Thanks. Bye.